All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest. It has been a fun week. We have been putting out a ton of content. I hope you guys are appreciating it. If you guys appreciate all the content me and the crew has been putting out, please make sure you guys like the video. It'll help get it out to more Utah fans. Also, as we go through this video, it should be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about the studs from week one. Who were the studs from week one? Who were the big time guys that showed up and made plays and helped us really push it over the line to win the game. So we're going to talk about that. I want to hear your comments below. Is there anyone that I did leave off, or is there any, one that you think needs more recognition or something I don't mention? Or if you guys just agree with what I'm saying, I would love to hear it. So make sure you guys do that. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out content for Utah Utes football and all the matchups. Just more content than the channel has ever put out. Just to give you guys an idea, I think in the last 11 days, we've put out 8 videos, something like that. So pretty cool. I hope you guys are appreciating it. Let's go ahead and dive in and let's talk about the studs from the week 1 matchup against Florida. All right, guys, and let's go ahead and start talking about the studs from week 1. Before we dive in, I want to be clear. I'm only going to name 3 guys as the studs from week 1. So it should be a thing that week in and week out, it's only given to the players that really showed up and showed out in those games. And the first guy that is going to be in the honorable mention. So I'm going to give you 2 honorable mentions before we dive into the 3 guys that, made the list. The first guy is going to be Makai Bernard. Makai Bernard went 7 carries for 45 yards. That's a 6.4 yards per carry. And that was against a tough run defense, man. We did not run well against these guys. He also had 2 receptions for 6 yards. But the thing that really stands out for me on Makai Bernard, why he makes the honorable mention list, was his pass blocking grade of a 79.3. And that it was only on 4 pass blocking snaps, but still, that is a 79.3. That's an elite pass blocking grade. You got to think that made a difference on those 4 plays, right? Especially with how much what's his name? Why is it escaping me? Spencer Fano, the left tackle, was struggling against this, legit defensive line. Makai Bernard stepping up and helping pass block was a big deal. So that's awesome. So that's Makai Bernard. Honorable mention for the studs list. Looked awesome. Again, overall, his PFF grade was a 71.3 with 79.3 pass blocking. That's really awesome. His run grade was a 70.3. And, I think the numbers are even more impressive against that tough run defense in Florida. It's 6.4 yards a carry. That's awesome. So that's Makai Bernard, one of the honorable mentions in the game against Florida. All right, guys. And the final honorable mention before we dive into the list of studs from week 1 is going to be Bryson Barnes. Bryson Barnes came out first play of the game, threw a bomb over the top for, a 70-yard touchdown. Crazy. He also went 12 for 18 for 66.7 completion percentage, 159 yards, and 1 touchdown. So awesome game by Bryson overall. I think as I dove more into the numbers and more into what really happened during the game, it had me feeling even better about the idea of Bryson Barnes being the starter going into the Baylor game. I mean, you look at the guy, he's got years of solid PFF grades under his belt, almost exactly 200 snaps going into this season. Then he had 35 snaps this against Florida, and he went a 73.4 grade, very solid grade, a 74.2 passing grade, which is super solid. And we all saw he made some awesome throws. He really did. He looked great. I think anyone really doubting him again, like saying that he shouldn't be the guy, might want to retake a look at that. He also had 3 carries for 11 yards and a touchdown. I want to see Nate Johnson, tote the rock just as much as the next guy. But it really feels like when you look at the numbers, when you look at the PFF grades, that Bryson Barnes earned the spot to go in and start against Florida if Cam can't go. So that's Bryson Barnes, my final honorable mention of the list. All right, guys, and now we are talking about the first stud, and this list is going to go good, better, best. So this first guy is the bottom of the three studs, good, better, best. I think you guys will be super excited on who they are. I would love to hear if you guys agree or disagree on how I ordered these three, or if you thought other people should have made the list. Either way, let's dive in. The first guy out of Peachtree City, Georgia, we've got Cole Bishop, hard hitting, beast of a safety. This kid is awesome. I mean, seriously, Cole Bishop has been a godsend since he got to Utah. Seriously. So let's talk about the stats. Cole Bishop had 11 tackles. That's a crazy number of tackles for one game, right? That put you on track to do, over 120 or about 120 tackles throughout the season, 112, but still crazy number. He also had a sack in the game and forced a fumble in the game. The kid was on fire all night. On top of that, it showed up in the PFF grades as well. He had a 73.3 PFF grade with a solid run defense grade of 65.3. But outside of that, he was great in every category. Tackling was a 74.1, which is off the charts. Pass rush is 71.3. That was on 5 pass rush snaps. That's not nothing. That's enough to take it seriously, right? And then 72 coverage grade on 47 coverage snaps. When Cole Bishop first got here, he was really more of a hard hitter and not as much of a coverage guy. Cole Bishop has developed into something awesome. Just to give you guys an idea, his coverage grade in 2021 was a 44.6, which is abysmal. And that was on 226 coverage snaps. In 2022, he was a 74.2 coverage grade on 391 coverage snaps. The guy is a beast. He is a playmaker, and this should be a huge year for Cole Bishop, one of the studs from week 1 against Florida. All right, and the second guy on the studs list is going to be edge rusher Jonah Ellis. Jonah Ellis has shown up as an awesome playmaker for Utah over these past 2 years. He kind of came out of nowhere a little bit last year. I mean, he had made some plays the year before, but very, very limited. And then last year, he kind of came onto the scene and really solidified it as a really, fast end-to-end type of edge rusher that could cover the whole field and looked awesome. And then he showed out against freaking Florida. He had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, and a pass defense. An edge rusher that's that well-rounded. So 4 tackles, 2 sacks, and a pass defense. And just to give you guys an idea of what he was able to do last week, a 75.9 PFF grade, which is very, very good. A run defense grade of above average at a 68.4, almost like a good grade. And then a 77.4 tackling grade, which is that's a borderline elite grade, and a pass rush grade of 73.3, which is very good. Coverage grade is 62.2, little below average, but that's good for an edge rusher. So that's awesome. Jonah Ellis showed out. It felt like he was getting back there all night and he was in the face of the quarterback, right? It really felt that way all night, and it was awesome to see the guy. That's Jonah Ellis, comes in at number 2 on the list of studs from week 1 against Florida. Okay, and the final guy, the number 1 stud from week 1 against Florida. This was a guy that I talked about a lot going into this season. He struggled last year playing a new position. He was a little out of position, and his PFF grades reflected that at times. But the guy that really made an impression for me and had by far the highest PFF grade, which was where he struggled last year, was Talala Maia. This guy was off the charts. So just to give you guys an idea, he played 54 snaps. On those snaps, he had a pass block rate of 71.0, which is very good. And that was what he struggled with last year. But more than that, against one of the best run defending D lines in the country in Florida, because they are, Florida fans will definitely tell you that. And the PFF grades played out. He had a pass block grade of 87.3, or a run block grade, sorry, of 87.3 on 26 run blocking snaps. And that pass blocking was a 71 on 28 pass blocking snaps. Talala Maia is graded right now after week 1 as the second best tackle in the FBS. Super impressive. I couldn't be happier for the guy. He was a guy I talked about it leading into the season that he had struggles last year, but the grades kept going up week after week, and he was playing a new position. I had faith that he was going to come in here and show out this year, and it is awesome to see, dude. If you're watching this, Tala, you definitely did a great job, dude, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes for this guy. So that's awesome, man. All right, guys. So that was the studs from week 1 when Utah played Florida. What an awesome game and a bunch of great performances. Just to recap, honorable mentions, we had Makai Bernard and Bryson Barnes. And then in order, the studs of the game were Cole Bishop at the number 3 spot. At the number 2 spot, we had Jonah Ellis. And at the number 1 spot, we had the man that showed up this year ready to go and say Talala Maia. So awesome game there. I thought this was a pretty fun little video to make. If you guys appreciate this video a lot and feel like this would be something you'd want every week, please make sure you guys drop the video a like. And I'd say more than that, drop it in the comments. Say that you want a video like this every week. If I know this is something you guys are interested in, it's something I want to make and put out a lot of content for you guys. And I could say this is one of my more fun videos to make. And I feel like we got to break down PFF grades, the nerdy part of things, also talk about stats. So I thought that was fun. And most of all, before we get out of here, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out Utah Utes football content all year. And I got a good group of guys helping me do so. So I'm excited about that. And on that note, I'm out of here, and go Utes.